The live channels television event.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State and his wife, the Honorable Ministers here present, members of the National Assembly here present, members of the State Assembly here present, the Speaker of the State Assembly, spiritual leaders, political leaders, and all here present. Please permit me to adopt the protocol which had been established. Of course, I know that in this kind of thing, I was bound to make some mistake. I fail to recognize the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State. Please accept my apology. I welcome you all to this town hall meeting in the city of Kaduna. This is the second edition of the town hall meeting that we started in Lagos on April 25th, 2016. Before going into the details of the concept, please permit me to first thank our host, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, His Excellency Madam Nasir El-Rufai, for his very warm reception and immense support for this meeting. Your Excellency, we appreciate your support, which has contributed hugely to making this gathering a reality. May I also thank my colleagues, the honorable ministers, for taking time out of their very busy schedule to attend this town hall meeting. In particular, I want to put on record that the Minister of Communication actually left Katsina this morning to be here. I thank you very much. Your presence here is a testimony to the fact that this administration takes very seriously the concept of participatory democracy, by which citizens are involved in political decisions and policies that affect their lives. Let me also thank our sponsors, the Bank of Industry, as well as all of you, the good citizens of Nigeria, gathered here for your presence here today. As I said earlier, this is the second edition of the town hall meetings. The audience we have here today is a mini Nigeria, since I've worked hard to ensure that all strata of life are represented here, from the political class, to traditional rulers, to the working class, to everyday Nigerian. The essence of this meeting is for the government to give account of its stewardship since coming into office on May 29, 2015. This is the right thing to do because we entered into a contract with you during electoral campaign to do certain things, and it is only right that we let you know how we have fared since we assumed office. Although we have been doing this through other platforms, including press releases, press conferences, appearances on radio and television programs, and newspaper interviews, we believe that in order to get our message to you undiluted, we believe that in order to get our message to you undiluted, unsifted, and unabridged, it is important to reach you directly, as we are doing today. Also, this platform allows the government to feel your pulse and for you to convey your views on critical issues of governance. In other words, this will be an interactive session. There is no better way to deepen democracy. Providing information to the citizens is critical to the success of any democracy, because information is the oxygen that powers democracy. This administration, therefore, is therefore committed to ensuring that there will be no communication gap between the government and the governed. Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we did make some promises to you during the electioneering campaign. You voted for us, believing that we will carry out those promises. So how have we fared so far? Well, we campaigned on 3 broad areas, which are to tackle insecurity, to fight corruption, and to revive the economy. I will briefly touch on these areas before turning the podium over to my colleagues, the Honorable Ministers. On the fight against insecurity, undoubtedly the biggest challenge that we faced upon assumption of office on 29th of May 2015, I'm happy to inform this gathering that we have performed a rare feat by subduing Boko Haram and making it impossible for the group to carry out any more spectacular attacks as it used to do in the past, when it virtually strolled into Abuja to attack the police headquarters and the UN complex. Some will argue that the insurgents are still carrying on sporadic suicide bombings and other attacks, even though they are now very few. Well, our answer to that is simple. By its very nature, no insurgency suddenly ends. They taper off with time. Insurgencies are not conventional warfare, and no agreements are signed to silence the guns. Of course, no nation in the world is strong enough to stop attacks on vulnerable targets, such as mosques, churches, motor parks, IDP camps, etc. The recent attacks in France, Belgium, and Cote d'Ivoire testify to this statement. As the military carries out mop-up operations, the challenge we face now is resettlement, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. On the fight against corruption, we have also fared very well. Today, Nigerians are less tolerant of corruption and corrupt people than they used to be before. This is because we have now raised the bar in the fight against this cankerworm. We have also brought to the attention of Nigerians the cause of corruption to their lives. Thanks to the sensitization campaign we launched earlier this year, Nigerians now know the cause of corruption instead of just talking about it in the abstract. In other words, it is not just that money is stolen, but that such action also deprives the people of the benefits that would have accrued to them if the funds have been spent for the purposes they were meant for. For example, those who shared in the $2.1 billion meant for arms didn't just take the money meant for the purchase of arms and ammunition for the military. They also contributed to sending many innocent Nigerians, soldiers and civilians, to their untimely graves. Let me state here that the revelations from $2.1 billion are just a tip of the iceberg, because the total funds involved in the arms purchase is $15 billion. Now, those who pocketed the money meant for upgrading the power infrastructure also succeeded in putting Nigerians in darkness. Of course, the government is also diligently prosecuting those alleged to have looted our Commonwealth. With the support of the judiciary, these cases will be disposed of very, very soon. Finally, the economy. This poses a great challenge to this administration, especially with a drastic fall in the price of crude oil, which is our country's main foreign exchange earner. We've lost a substantial part of our earnings to the massive crash in the price of oil. Think about it. If you suddenly lose over 70% of your monthly salary, your life can never be the same again. At its worst level, Oil crashed from over $100 to about $30 a barrel. It has recently inched up to over $40 per barrel, but even that is a very far cry to what it used to be. For a monoproduct economy, this shortfall is nothing short of a disaster. But the administration has decided to turn the disaster to a blessing by working assiduously to diversify our economy away from oil. Agriculture, solid minerals, and tourism are some of the sectors we are currently working to rejuvenate so they can earn huge revenues for the country and create jobs. While these efforts are on, the administration has decided to plug all financial leakages through the Treasury Singles account. The Honorable Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, who is here, will shed more light on the 2016 budget, which has just been signed into law by Mr. President. But let me focus on the administration's strategy to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. We plan to do this through 6 social intervention areas that will greatly impact on the economy as well as on our lives. First is the 500,000 the employment of 5,000 unemployed graduates who will now be trained as teachers and will be deployed to our schools. We also intend in this budget to employ 370,000 non-graduates. We are talking about artisans and technicians. He will also be trained and then be employed. This budget also targets 1 million people, farmers, market men and women, entrepreneurs, to be granted loans to set up small-scale businesses. Of course, under this budget is also the homegrown one-day school feeding, targeting 4.5 million school children, in addition to the cash transfer of 5,000 every month to the most vulnerable Nigerians. And in the area of education, we decided to give bursaries and scholarships for students studying science, technology, engineering, and mathematics at tertiary levels. Having given this general overview, we now proceed to the next phase, which is for the honorable ministers to give account of their stewardship in their various ministries, after which the panelists will field questions from the audience. Let me say that the star of this town hall meeting is not any of the ministers here, but you, the audience. It is you we have come here to render account to, and it's you we want to hear from. I thank you for your kind attention. I will now call on the Honorable Minister of State for Budget and National Planning to make our opening remarks. Each minister has a maximum of 7 minutes to make his or her opening statement. I thank you very much.